chờ ta chỉ nó cả kia rồi họ nó chỉ ra kia lý để chờ chứ rồi sao hắn tổ luôn trong Jerusalem nữa họ đã nói ra luôn trong Tel Aviv nhà trò Israel tế chờ Isaiah nói ra lúc bắt đây hiện từ lo nhà trò tế chờ nó cần có bó tiệc khăn đồ để nữa
by what took place here in this place. The people still saw Jerusalem as their capital, and so this was kind of a foreign intrusion into Israel. And so the things that we see here are things that we don't often see elsewhere, because this is Roman culture imposed upon the people here in this place. So the theater that we've just talked about a little bit, we're going to go over to the Hippodrome, and it's an awesome place to visit. In fact, God in His providence has buried these things for us to be able to see them today. But that was a horrible place for Jews and for Christians in the first century. In fact, in a number of uprisings, there were literally thousands of people killed in the Hippodrome, either by animals or whatever means that they used to impose the rule over the people there in Israel. So this is both a secular power base, but it's not a holy place to Christians and to Jews themselves. It was an imposition of Rome on the people of Israel themselves. So I want us to pause just for a second. If you look at the scriptures here in Acts 9, it talks about Paul, sailing from Caesarea to Tarsus. Acts 10, which we're going to read out in a minute, was where Cornelius hears from God. That was here. He was a centurion in the Roman army that was stationed here. In Acts 18, Paul lands at Caesarea following his second missionary journey. Acts 21, Paul stays at the home of Philip the evangelist. Acts 23, Paul defends himself in three major addresses before Governors Felix, and Festus, and King Agrippa. So it's like the Supreme Court of the land that he appears before at that point. In Acts 27, Paul is sent as a prisoner to Rome from this port. And so as you've already heard about, this was a man-made port. Herod the Great was the master builder, and we're going to see his footprint all over. In fact, the ancient historian says he was probably the number 2 builder in Roman history that was scheduled here. And we're going to see his handiwork from the beginning all the way to the end, everywhere we go. But for us here, the intersections of the scriptures that we see here in the New Testament, what this place does for me on our first day is it just kind of sinks in that the stuff that we've read about in the Bible is real.
Amen.
These are real people. In fact, 100 years ago, 120 years ago now, German theologians were saying this is all made up stuff. None of this is real. None of these people have been discovered in archaeology, so on and so forth. Everything you're going to see over the next 7 or 8 days refutes that. It massively refutes that. In a moment, we're gonna cross over, and we're gonna go on down, and we're gonna find a stone that mentions Pontius Pilate, which those same theologians said never existed. And yet here we've got a stone in his honor testifying to his name. And so when we stand right here, we're seeing Herod the Great. We're seeing Caesar Augustus, that was built in honor of him by Herod the Great. We see this magnificent harbor that brought in trade into Israel. We're seeing real people, real things from the Bible all the way through. And I like to just stop here and kind of breathe it in.
Ở thay chơi nó giờ ít thay chơi thổ u nha sao là mong lỡ đầu xin tua nha là ta chơi được nó nha là khỏi chơi được nó đồ sa hồ nó mà thổ lúc xưa đời mà lên thiệt tàu bắt than tàu phá tủ sư nhau đồ tây thay chán nó nhà thổ là xin tua lời ta có một comment chuyện gì là nữ chỉ cho cú thổ u lợi để chơi nữa nó thổ u ya sao là mong thế lời xin tua thổ lời tôi bỏ thiên thiệt tàu tây bỏ xa nhau tây còn nó màn tàu cho phá lần xứ thì tây chơi nó ya xin tua thổ u nó vậy lúc khó đê thổ u lời khơi thế nhau được khổ đi chờ nó thấu mà xin tua mà nâng tua dọc phá lần xứ chỉ thế rong lên nó mà khởi chè đồ của nó đồ nên tôi sai đâu giả là cú kho là để gì để cho hiện chỉ cho cú thiệt thấu là xin tua nên cú tôi sai ổn đủ rồi ya làm đợi văn chữ khó và nên tôi sai sư lỡ tiền lúc họ chuồn nó thấu giờ sợ là mong là xin tua để lỡ chân xí lúc họ chuồn nó xin tua nó lò bò bể lò nữa to cơ nên nó lại cũng muốn khó lên nó lại để xem mà lại tiền họ nói như chuyện giao thổ tây giả của thổ bò thổ có tại sao là mong là xin tua nhớ sát sổ nó mà nên tua cho xe tủ xứ chỉ bỏ tây chờ lấy chai chế nâng xí tua lò xí tây giả đó nhớ đâu sát sổ của tí xí để lấy những chuyện xí lúc họ chùa nó của họ chờ xin gậu trò để xí tua thế chỉ bỏ tây chờ cho nhu trong này nhớ của tí xí lò bể cho hổ nó chỉ họ tờ hổ nó lò sao cơ thế nó chỉ tự đó ra ra đổ lại tờ bê khó chua ló son rồi nó sao cơ lý
Come on in.
rồi mà chuồn đây nữa rồi
This just had a lot of fun talking about going.
cho nên nó chuyển ta tận nhiều lọ cho thế lọ phật chùa lọ cái tủ lọ yếu lo chỉ cho thế
nhớ chủ ra